Hello and welcome everybody. We're so glad you could join us today for our tutorial number 5. We have a very important topic to talk about today, one that's on everybody's mind in Canada and in Brazil and all over the world: returning children to school, face-to-face school.
As Maple Bear families, you have been on a challenging journey throughout this pandemic. And to add to the challenge, COVID-19 has left you traveling without a map and without a definite arrival time. Unfortunately, we cannot provide certainties as to the end of this pandemic. Sorry.
Yes, but what we can provide is some certainties about what Maple Bear schools will be doing to prepare for school reopening, whenever that may be for you. Our first purpose today is to tell you about our extensive preparations. Your Maple Bear school will be sharing specific details which will be tailored to your particular school and community. But we do want to reassure you that Maple Bear Global has been thorough, diligent, and proactive in readying schools and staff for a really smooth return to school.
In fact, our second and most important purpose today is to enlist your help in achieving this transition in the very best way that we can. That is, collaboratively, and with the safety of the children at the forefront.
We want you, our Maple Bear parents, to be confident that your children are going to be in a safe environment. And we want your children to share that confidence so that the return to school will be a joyful occasion. The Maple Bear school will be ready. The Maple Bear staff will be really excited to welcome your children. And with excellent preparations for the transition, the result is going to be happy reunions and renewed learning for the children.
For weeks, Maple Bear Global and Maple Bear Central staff have been monitoring the crisis and seeking out the best ways to prepare for a safe return to school when the circumstances allow. The plan we have developed respects the most stringent government regulations and health and hygiene requirements, and our staff, from administration to teachers, teacher assistants, to cleaners and support staff, will be trained with the new protocols before schools open. Trainers from Canada and Brazil have been hired to conduct special training. Access to this expert guidance is a major advantage that Maple Bear has.
Here's another Maple Bear advantage. Because Maple Bear Global has schools around the world, we've been able to draw upon the successes and, yes, the glitches in countries that have already passed through the lockdown phase and have already reopened their schools. This has helped us develop comprehensive procedures that respect the high standards you as Maple Bear parents have a right to expect for a safe return to Maple Bear schools.
Your school will be ready. By giving you a brief overview of preparations by Maple Bear schools, we trust that you will agree that your school will be ready to support your children in returning to school when it is safe to do so. We want to reduce your stress levels. Our preparations have been formalized as protocol required of all Maple Bear schools. Here are some important points.
Your school administrators will make decisions based on the most up-to-date recommendations and share with families the new requirements designed for safety. Parents will be informed well in advance about such things as staggered entry or a change in the number of hours in school or a possible shortened day to reduce crowding.
Changes to parent drop-off and pickup, signing in, hand washing, and safe handoff of children to designated Maple Bear staff.
There will be social distancing requirements for each of the different grade levels.
Canceling or postponing special events that call for close contact or larger crowds.
There will be enhanced health and safety standards in place, which include frequent hand washing for all staff and all students.
The wearing of masks for all staff and all students, except for those under the age of 2.
Infection prevention standards and a protocol for cases of suspected infection.
Social distancing. Our larger class size, our lower student-teacher ratio makes it easier for us to social distance and make sure that those are maintained.
Food prep and food service safety measures will be in place.
Education and promotion of hygiene standards with posters and reminders in all areas of the school.
In fact, there will be hygiene standards for every classroom as well, with a disinfection protocol for all areas and all equipment. Toys will be cleaned, as will all learning materials except books and paper. As well, teachers will refrain from using shared materials with kids. Your children will be given separate kits instead of normal shared center materials, for example.
There will be extensive training of all staff before these transitions occur. Some training has already been prepared and includes online webinars, training videos, and guidelines to support teachers and coordinators. All of this regarding
planning for the transition, and especially planning for the social emotional needs of your children as they transition back to school.
Transitioning the learning from virtual learning to the regular classroom.
Assessment, transitioning from virtual learning to the regular program.
And of course, working with you, the parents.
Canadian trainers have already begun to do workshops and to consult with the entire staff of each school. Trainers, coordinators, and teachers working together will conduct what's called a class review process to define the specific needs of each class. This will be followed by a detailed learning plan to bridge the learning gaps that exist and will be identified.
You're probably wondering about how the learning time lost during the shutdown of schools will be addressed. Your school staff will be ready because of the training support Maple Bear will be providing. Canadian and Brazilian trainers will offer strategies to assist teachers to establish the most important outcomes and to determine how to teach and assess for effective compacted learning.
Now, here's a little warning. Don't expect teachers to be piling on worksheets, textbook tasks, and a whole bunch of extra homework. Maybe you'll be relieved about that. But please don't do this at home either. It will just add to the stress, and it will actually slow down your child's readaptation to school. And it inhibits learning. It doesn't improve learning. Trust that your school staff have prepared excellent activities that will welcome your children, reassure your children, meet their social emotional needs, and get them happily re-engaged in learning important skills and concepts.
Of course, it's premature to give details about specific Maple Bear schools, as the pandemic is still fluid, and each state and city and town has its own unique circumstances. Our advice for you is to maintain contact with your school and ask questions.
Parents, you are going to be the key to successful transitioning of children back to school. This will have to be a team effort. The school staff will ensure that the facility is ready. The teachers who connect with your child regularly will be helping them with the transition. However, you are the person who knows your child best. And you have seen how they've reacted and adjusted to the restrictions, and you are in tune with their stress levels and any anxieties they may be experiencing. The fact is, there are important things that only parents can do to help children and the school community with a good transition.
Let's start with a review of the parent guidelines developed by Maple Bear Global Schools. These are intended to assist you in preparing your child for his or her return to school.
Keep communication and collaboration with the school and classroom teacher at the forefront to ensure a smooth transition. Ensure that your child participates in the virtual classroom as regularly as possible. Monitor what's going on and conference with your child's teacher as often as you can, especially if your child is experiencing academic or behavior problems.
Reinforce to your children that it's great to be back at school and learning new things in a familiar and friendly place.
Send a healthy and prepared child to school. Any illness at all means that your child needs to stay at home to reduce the chance of infection. Everyone must be careful not to bring the virus to others.
Leave all unnecessary objects at home, and that includes toys. Limit extra items only to outdoor clothing and to perhaps a comfort object. Earlier children may need a change of clothing as well.
Please be available to pick up your child if he or she displays any symptoms of illness, and have a designate identified in case you're not available when the phone rings.
Ensure your child brings a mask. Your school may have extras, but purchase appropriate masks ahead of time and label them with your child's name.
Tie up or tie back your child's hair if it's long.
Sanitize all backpacks at home every evening or before the start of school, and sanitize all other objects being sent to school.
Please reinforce the new school and class rules and routines at home in a very positive way.
And here are some practical suggestions. Establish a back to school routine at least 1 week ahead of time, preferably more. And this includes sleeping schedules, nighttime and morning time routines that support getting your children to school on time.
Have positive conversations about going back to school. Your children are definitely thinking about it. I'm sure their teachers have mentioned it. And showing a cheerful outlook as a parent is everything in setting the tone for a positive return to school.
Encourage independence, particularly in young children, to minimize separation anxiety when you have to leave them at the school drop-off area.
Yes. At home, let your child get dressed with as little help as possible. Practice, make it a race or a game.
Encourage them to try on their Maple Bear uniform or wear it during their virtual classroom meetings.
For little guys, let them practice feeding themselves at home at snack time. Let them practice using their spoons.
Build cleanup time into their play routines because this is expected at school.
Praise them for helping you with chores like wiping the table, sorting laundry, or putting away their toys.
Drive by the school for a happy reminder and to build anticipation.
Ask the staff of your school to share a photo or a video of your child's classroom. You can then look at the video and explain the new rules that go along with this new setup.
When reading with your child, share some books that will help with open discussions. For example, on the free site Unite for Literacy, there are a couple of child-friendly books called Kids Want to Know What is COVID-19 and Wash Your Hands. On Storyline Online, there's a lovely book about the first day of school called The Kissing Hand that will help your child feel reassured that you will always be there for them. Reading with your child is a great way to lead the back-to-school discussion.
Talk about food to prepare your child for the changes and the new procedures at school. Make sure to stock up on some of your child's favorite snacks if you're going to be sending them from home.
Discuss routines at school. When does school start? When does school end? And what are the rules regarding behavior?
With older children, remind them about making sure their uniforms are ready for the first day.
Help your child get all supplies ready. Make an adventure of shopping for required items, such as a mask or hand sanitizer, perhaps some new pens or pencils or crayons, or even a new lunch kit. Let children play with their purchases before school starts. Most children love to start school with something new.
Now, social emotional factors affecting your children and you must be considered. The COVID-19 crisis, with its complete disruption of the normal flow of life for families, will have affected your children substantially. Their new normal, that is being cooped up at home, away from extended family, friends, and school, has been dragging on for months, and it has been strange and therefore stressful. That makes a return to yet another new normal a challenge. Children need to understand that returning to school is a wonderful step, but that school is going to be quite different. This may cause more stress and even a range of negative emotional responses, including fear, anxiety, disappointment, maybe even anger.
Here's a brief lesson on the biology of stress and how it affects the human body. Let's focus on children, although the same process holds true for adults. Children process what they say and what they hear, even if it's not directed at them. and their bodies judge whether or not the situation is stressful. If the situation is judged to be stressful, which happens subconsciously, the hypothalamus at the base of the brain is activated. This triggers the flight or fight response. Adrenaline gets the body ready for fighting or fleeing by increasing the heart rate, increasing blood pressure, increasing sweating, and decreasing digestion. Another stress hormone, cortisol, releases stored glucose to maintain blood sugar levels to help the person cope. It also suppresses the immune system, which is why frequent prolonged stress can lead to many other illnesses.
Knowing this science can help parents and school staff to be prepared. Here are 3 suggestions. Number 1, parents, you can allay the fear and dissipate any anger by being positive and encouraging. We know how stressed you are, and knowing how stressed you are, we realize that being positive and encouraging might require some very high-level acting skills, but let's try. The more you say, "Don't worry," the more some children and adults worry. Instead of offering vague reassurance, try being encouraging, and it's not quite the same thing. Reassurance is like, "It's going to be fine," or "Don't worry," can actually backfire and drive a need for further reassurance, with your child constantly asking if things are really okay.
Instead, be honest and encouraging to build resilience in your child. You can acknowledge risks, but emphasize all of the precautions that the school has planned to reduce those risks. It's amazing how your school has thought of everything to keep you safe at school. If your child expresses worry, help them articulate a specific problem and together identify a workable solution. Don't let anxiety win.
Now, if your child's fear is expressed in a refusal to go to school, don't give in to this fear. If you do give in, you are actually confirming to your child that there's something to fear. And each day, it will get even harder to get your child to go to school. Instead, be encouraging and be firm. "I know you can do this, and so does your teacher. She can't wait to see you, and she will show you all the new safety procedures." It may take some effort to convince your very anxious child, but the more you do this, the more your child will realize they are capable of coping.
Of course, you should praise them for showing courage in the face of fear. Express your pride in their behavior. Celebrate. If your child's fear is debilitating, contact the school staff. A gradual return may be arranged, with partial attendance gradually lengthened as the child becomes more comfortable.
Do monitor your child's stress levels. Watch, listen, talk to them. Be active in connecting with the school about any struggles or doubts your child has expressed. You are the best advocate for your child. Be sure to ask what role you can take in supporting any of the school's efforts and plans. One other piece of advice, there will be some this advice is going to be important during the fluctuations of this pandemic. Be informed by facts, not rumors or gossip on what's up. Go to reliable sources and stay informed as to what's going on in your Maple Bear school, in your community, your state, and your country. Share age-appropriate information with your children. Equip them with facts.
Model good coping behaviors for your child. Be calm, flexible, optimistic, honest, and as caring as you can be. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are and always will be your child's teacher. They have already learned so many things from you, including their home language, how to show love, what foods to eat, what dangers to avoid, good manners, and so much more. And because of COVID, you have now added homeschooling to your list of teachable subjects. You are always teaching your children by example. What you do, what you say, how you react to change, how you treat people is what they internalize. Now you need to be a positive role model to show your children how to handle fear, stress, and uncertainty. How you handle your fears, your own stress, and how you act throughout the day will certainly affect how your children see the world and how they themselves will react.
You can definitely acknowledge your worries. That's natural. But instead of dwelling on them, focus on healthy coping strategies. Yep, I'm worried about my work meeting later today, but I'm going to go for a run to clear my head and then relax with a cold drink while I prepare my notes. Doing something like this will provide healthy guidance for your children who will see that worrying is natural, but it can be alleviated in proactive ways. They will follow your example when faced with stressful situations. If you're angry, please model restraint. For example, my friend posted something really inappropriate on Instagram. I could have gotten her in trouble with her employer, but I knew she was just expressing frustration. So I decided to call her and help her remove the post instead.
Anticipate what stressful new developments might occur and that would have an impact on your children, such as another school closure or a family member or a friend becoming ill with COVID-19. Try to find an honest yet developmentally appropriate warning. Don't minimize, but encourage and model the right attitude. Well, mommy and daddy have learned how to homeschool, so it'll be okay if we have to do it again for a while. Or if our friend gets COVID-19, our doctors know a lot about effective treatments. And of course, the idea here is to communicate this. Let's take life one day at a time and find joy where we can instead of fretting about the things that we can't control. Suggesting, and better yet, modeling positive attitudes are good coping strategies before your child has a meltdown, and that's a great proactive parenting skill. You're teaching your child an important life skill, how to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Last, but certainly not least, be sure to take care of yourself and know your limits. Our capacity to support others is limited by our own emotional, physical, and mental well-being. Remember, being a parent and a teacher 24/7 is tough. You may be struggling to keep yourself healthy and sane. Happiness may be coming only in short bursts. But if you ignore the warning signs and fall ill, you can't help your children. So take care of yourself. Here's some advice. Put personal time and regular breaks on your daily schedule. There are ways to achieve this. If you have a spouse or an older relative at home, share the parenting duties to allow some breaks for everyone. Make a schedule for each of you if possible. Put nap time, relaxation time, silent reading time, or simply free play time in your child's daily routine. Then while they're doing those relaxing things, you can get some work done or relax yourself.
Daily exercise is important for physical and mental well-being. Put it on your routine schedule. As well, aim for healthy nutrition and regular meals. Get adequate sleep. Don't forget self-care strategies such as meditation, yoga, journaling. And of course, socializing with friends and family is important for healthy emotional outlet. Even virtual contact is better than isolation.
Remember the science of stress we discussed earlier? The biology of stress affects adults too. Prolonged stress is not good for anyone. If challenges to cope with the changes and demands have led to substantial emotional or mental or physical health problems for you, it may be time to get professional help rather than trying to manage it all on your own.
Worry and stress thrive in the atmosphere of uncertainty, and no doubt the pandemic will require us all to deal with uncertainty for quite some time. But as adults, it is our duty to do this in a way that shields our children. Maple Bear parents know and accept the changes in school procedures, who are actively engaged in the required preparations and who build their child's optimism and resilience, and that will play a significant part in successful transitions back to school.
Maple Bear school staffs truly have empathy for the many challenges that Maple Bear parents have faced and appreciate the creativity, energy, and commitment you've shown in supporting your children. Hopefully, you in turn have been impressed with the work of your Maple Bear School in adapting to the challenges of virtual teaching.
This mutual respect between parents and school is a necessary foundation for the hard work ahead in transitioning back to school. Everyone will need to be collaborative and flexible in dealing with the unpredictable developments, the inevitable roadblocks, and the problems that will arise. No doubt the circumstances will shift, and this will require a mutually supportive culture.
Transition is going to be a process, not an event. Working together with empathy and goodwill, communicating honestly and constructively, helping everyone adjust to the new restrictions and requirements, and reassuring children, keeping them safe and learning. These are our shared goals. We've all missed the Maple Bear community. Let's be a strong team working on behalf of the children that we all love. Together, we can plan a safe return to Maple Bear. Together, I'm sure we are anticipating the joy of reuniting at school. And together, when the time is right, we will make that dream a reality. We can do it.
Thank you.